Most people are addicted to noise. When someone insults you, they're feeding you a hook, waiting for you to bite. They want your anger, they want your explanation, they want to control your emotional state. Stoicism isn't about being a punching bag. It's about becoming a black hole. When you meet disrespect with absolute, stone-cold silence, you starve them of the reaction they crave. By saying nothing, you aren't losing. You're making them realize that their words have zero market value in your world. But be warned, when you stop reacting, the other person won't just get frustrated. They will start to fear what you are thinking behind that silence. In the absence of your words, they're forced to face their own. Silence is a mirror. It forces the aggressor to sit with their own poison. Notice what happens when you refuse to defend yourself. They keep talking. They ramble. They try to fill the awkward gap with more noise. But each sentence they utter reveals a deeper layer of their own desperation. You aren't just ignoring them. You're giving them enough rope to hang their own reputation. But here's the psychological trap. Silence creates a massive power vacuum. If you break it too soon, you hand them back the weapon. If you hold it, you own their psyche. High-status individuals don't explain themselves to people who don't matter. Every time you argue with an idiot, you lower your rank. You're telling the world that this person's opinion is worth your time, your energy, and your intellect. Stoicism teaches that your attention is your most valuable currency. Why are you spending it on someone who is trying to bankrupt you? Silence signals that you are operating on a frequency they cannot reach. It places you on a throne of detachment while they scramble at your feet for a response. But mark my words, if you use silence as a petty game, it's just manipulation. But if you use it as a boundary, it becomes an impenetrable fortress that no insult can breach. True power is the ability to wait. In nature, the loudest animals are usually the ones being hunted. The predator is always silent. When you are disrespected, your instinct screams at you to strike back instantly. But a Stoic knows that an immediate reaction is just a reflex. A calculated response is a strategy. By holding your tongue, you are taking the time to observe their weaknesses. You're gathering data while they're leaking emotion. But don't get comfortable. Silence without intent is just cowardice. The danger lies in the moment they realize your silence isn't because you have nothing to say, but because you are deciding if they are even worth the effort of a final blow. The reason silence is so difficult is because your ego is starving. Your ego wants to win the argument. It wants to prove you are right and they are wrong. But a Stoic understands that winning an argument with a fool is actually a profound loss of character. When you remain silent, you are killing the part of yourself that seeks external validation. You are proving that your peace of mind is more important than their submission. Disrespect only has power if it finds a landing strip in your pride. If there is no ego, the insult has nowhere to land. But here's the cold reality. Most of you can't handle this. You will feel the itch to speak, to fix their perception of you. And the moment you scratch that itch, you become their slave once again. Silence is the ultimate boundary. It tells the world, I do not negotiate with disrespect. Think Think of silence as a filter. It separates the people who value your presence from those who only seek to drain your energy. When you stop responding to toxicity, the toxic people naturally drift away, unable to survive in the cold vacuum you've created. You are reclaiming your territory. You are declaring that your inner peace is not up for public debate. But beware of the pressure. The people closest to you will be the ones most offended by your new silence. They like the version of you they could rattle. If you fold now, you're telling them that your boundaries are just a suggestion. Silence is not the end of the conversation. It is the beginning of your dominance. When you finally do speak, after a long, calculated silence, your words carry the weight of a sledgehammer. Because you haven't wasted your breath on noise, your voice now commands the entire room. The Stoic doesn't use silence to hide. He uses it to calibrate. You have shown that you cannot be rattled, cannot be baited, and cannot be bought. You are now the master of the interaction. But here's the final, brutal truth. Once you master the dangerous power of silence, you will realize that most people aren't worth talking to at all. You will become a ghost to the weak, and a god to the disciplined. The question is, are you brave enough to be that alone